Good morning, everyone. We'll go ahead and get started. Good morning, everyone. It's good to have you here today with us. Thank you for joining the American Indian Alaska Native Tourism Association's webinar series. Today's webinar will focus on small business development working with MBDA. My name is Bianca Mitchell. I'm from the Pueblo of Acoma, and I am the Education Manager for AIANTA. I will be serving as today's webinar moderator and managing the questions and answers at the end of the presentation. For those of you who are not familiar with AIANTA, for nearly 2 decades, AIANTA has served as the national voice for American Indian nations engaged in cultural tourism. In addition to serving as the voice for Indian country tourism, AIANTA provides technical assistance and training to tribal nations and native-owned enterprises engaged in tourism, hospitality, and recreation. AIANTA's mission is to define, introduce, grow, and sustain American Indian, Alaska Native, and Native Hawaiian tourism that honors traditions and values. In addition to webinars like these, AIANTA is offering the Go International, a virtual conference this year, on April 21st and 22nd, designed to help tribal tourism businesses keep up with the rapid shifts in packaged travel landscape. Go International features expert speakers and hands-on presentations that will guide tribal enterprises and businesses in conceptualizing and developing their tourism products and promoting them to tour operators, wholesalers, and domestic and international group travelers. Register today at aianta.org and Go International. AIANTA also provides educational opportunities for tribes through our annual American Indian Tourism Conference, or AITC. The 2021 AITC event will be held in Fort McDowell, Arizona, at the Wecopa Casino Resort on October 25th through the 28th. Please visit our website, again at aianta.org, to learn more about our education program offerings, and at aianta.org/AITC for additional information and registration for the 23rd Annual Indian Tourism Conference. Again, thank you for joining us this morning for the Minority Business Development Agency Resources. Excuse me. This session will introduce participants to the concept of developing and utilizing a tourism economic feasibility study as a tool for making a project decision, developing a proposal, building a business plan, and attracting potential partners and or investors for tribal tourism economic development. You will also hear more about how tourism economic feasibility studies can be a catalyst for determining best or optimal use of a designated land base. And before we get started, we do have some poll questions for our audience today. Please take some time to answer our questions. The first question is, what AIANTA region do you represent? Second question is, what kind of small business do you have? Third question is, how many employees do you have? And fourth question is, how many of you worked with an MBDA, SBDA, SBDC, SBA, SCORE, or Chamber of Commerce? I'll give it a few seconds here. We'll see which AIANTA region will take first place. Is it the Southwest, Pacific, maybe Alaska? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and end the polling questions. Thank you to those of you who answered. I'm gonna share the results as well. So the Southwest region is at 44%. What kind of small business do you have? Majority is other. Next is consultant at 22%. How many employees? 61% is under 5. And then majority have worked with an SBA. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce our panelists today. First, I'd like to introduce Michael Peacock, the CEO of Southwest Business Development Consultants, LLC. Michael's entire business career has been dedicated to serving American Indian and minority-owned businesses and his passion is to be an inspiration, role model, and mentor to local communities in building self-sufficiency and empowerment. Michael Peacock has more than 30 years of experience in providing comprehensive business, community, and economic development services to individuals, businesses, organizations, and tribes throughout New Mexico and the United States. Also with us this morning is Darla Jones. She serves as the program manager for the Four Winds Diversified Project and Southwest Business Development Consultants, LLC. Her main role is engaging new clients and providing access to capital, resources, and new markets for American Indian, Alaska Native, Native Hawaiian, and minority-owned businesses located in the Southwest rural reservation lands and local communities. Jones's focus is promoting entrepreneurship, small business training, and coaching and assessment and certification services for federal set-aside programs. Also with us today is Tim Gardipy, an enrolled Little Shell with Blackfeet descendancy. He grew up on the Blackfeet Reservation. He has worked for NADC since 2015 and currently oversees the commerce/tria.com program funded by MBDA. Gardipy provides business planning and technical assistance as needed to clients, as well as community development, financial institution assistance. For the previous 4 years, he has overseen the SBA business development programs for NADC. With more than 17 years in community business and economic development areas, he has a wide and varied background. He has been certified as a small business consultant through AASBC, certified in Corp for Indian entrepreneurship, profit mastery, as well as training in consumer credit counseling. At this time, I'd like to give it over to Michael Peacock. Thank you, Michael, for being with us today.
Thank you, Bianca. Good morning, everybody. My name is Michael Peacock. I'm from Laguna Pueblo, and I've been in the consulting industry for about 30 years, and I've been in business for 22 years now. And one of our great services that we provide to Native Americans throughout tribal territories is developing tribal tourism economic feasibility studies, which are a catalyst to optimizing lands for creating and capitalizing on tourism tribal-based economic opportunities. I'm proud to say that I team up with architects and engineers throughout the Southwest, and we've done over probably 20 feasibility studies throughout the Southwest. So I'm just going to go over the highlights and the components of a feasibility study today. Next slide. Why do we need a feasibility study? Feasibility studies empower a tribal government to make an informed decision regarding the tribe's economic future and distinguish real economic opportunities from investments that could fail. Basically, we're utilizing a feasibility study to make an informed decision for a tribe to either invest or partner and to move forward with the feasibility study to attract lenders and investors, project partners, and obtain financial backing for the project. Next slide. These are the basic components of a feasibility study that are included in the document. The first component is consumer market research and analysis. And these are all the various components that our research team research and analyzes, is defining the needs and demands of the local and regional consumer markets. And these are all the various components that are researched and analyzed and reported. Industry research and analysis. These are looking at the various industries, size, outlook trends and growth patterns. Research industry size, outlook trends and growth patterns. Next slide. Another component is we're looking at competition research and analysis. We take a snapshot of about a 50-mile radius of the project site And we look at all the various components of the businesses that are located within within this 50-mile radius. We look at leakage to nearby border towns. We determine number and types of similar economic development operations activities in the region. Our engineers start looking at the site analysis. We look at the site to determine whether or not it's a feasible site. We look at, the engineers look at zoning. We look at the land use analysis, flood maps, ordinances, compliance with local permits, road design and construction access. We determine the land status of the proposed site.
I think you froze there for a little bit, Michael.
Okay, I'm sorry. We do look at the site to determine all the types of infrastructure that are within the proposed site, access to electricity, gas, sewer, communication, and so forth. The next slide. We look at all the various, again, the site analysis, all the environmental compliances to ensure that we're in compliance with all the environmental assessments, make sure there is biological assessments performed, make sure there is cultural resource inventory that's been performed, and of course, a property boundary that's been performed, which is a legal land survey. And then our architects start developing a site plan of the proposed area to determine exactly what it's going to cost per square inch, per square acre, what is the construction cost to build this particular project, what is the cost to determine the architectural and engineering services and site infrastructure, and what is the overall cost to develop the project. Next slide. And then we perform a complete financial analysis. We determine the financial requirements to construct and maintain the proposed economic development project. We do 5 years of forecast of profit loss, 5 years of cash flow. We build up a basic balance sheet. We determine the break-even point. We determine return on investment. The next component is to determine the project analysis. We create a SWOT analysis. We look at the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunity and threats, and we classify. We create a number of jobs that will be created from the project, and the types of training that will be required to maintain the project. And then we, at the very end, we make a recommendation on the basic course of action for the development. Next slide. Here are some samples that we've conducted in the tourism industry here. We conducted several years ago a complete study for Navajo Nation Division of Parks and Recreation in Arizona on the Navajo Nation in Page. It was a Lower Antelope Canyon RV resort and campground, which is on a 40-acre site. We just completed another plan for the Many Farms Vendor Village in Many Farms, Arizona. This was on a 41-acre site. And we are just in the process of completing right now the Wallapai RV Park in Peach Springs, which is close to the Grand Canyon. This is on a 26-acre site, and we will be presenting this to Tribal Council on March 6th. So just in a nutshell, this is kind of the components of what goes into a feasibility study, and don't have much time to go in depth, but at this time, I'd like to turn it over to Darla Jones, our project manager. She's going to be talking about the Four Winds Diversified project.
Thank you, Mike. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Thank you to AIANTA for giving us the opportunity to present our program. I'm Darla Jones, the project manager. I oversee the program, and I'm also the point of contact, if you will. I am Danae and Iroquois, enrolled with the Navajo Nation. My experience with the Department of Commerce Minority Development Business Development Agency goes back 8 years. The Minority Business Development Agency, or MBDA, was established 52 years ago and is the only federal agency solely dedicated to the growth and global competitiveness of minority-owned small businesses. New Mexico was one of the first MBDA business centers to open their doors 52 years ago. And today there are over 41 business centers throughout the nation, including Puerto Rico. Of the 40 plus centers, 13, including our center, are dedicated to supporting business development in Indian country. Since September of 2019, we've operated the Southwest region and branded our center the Four Winds Diversified Project. We are currently in our second quarter of our second year. We are located at the Indian Pueblo Cultural Center in Albuquerque. Our staff includes myself, Mr. Mike Peacock, the operator of the program and CEO of Southwest Business Development Consultants, our contractor, Mr. Russell Pedro, CEO of Data Management of New Mexico, and he's our senior training and certification specialist. Mr. Pedro specializes in certification services for federal set-aside programs such as the SBA 8A certification, HubZone, women-owned small business, and small disadvantaged veteran-owned small business certifications. We provide strategic business consulting services focusing on entrepreneurship, small business training, federal set-aside training and coaching, proposal development, community and economic development. We are currently working with a strategic partner to enhance our procurement capabilities to offer unlimited access to contract opportunities on the federal, state, and local level, including by Indian set-asides. This initiative is to better assist our clients in identifying contract opportunity matches to build their business to scale. Just a quick example, we signed on our first plumber and HVAC company. We matched them with one of our large contractors that procured a contract with the U.S. Forest Service. They didn't have a capability statement, which we helped them develop, and they were chosen as a sub for that particular opportunity. They are currently working on the large project up north, freezing their butts off, but they are completely grateful. We have partnerships with local lenders, alternative lenders providing access to capital. We'll be teaming with our partners DreamSpring here soon, who is an alternative lender here in Albuquerque, to assist with their payment protection program initiatives. Access to capital, including bonding, can be difficult to locate, especially in the time we are living now. We have a network with our MBDA family nationwide. If we don't have the answer for you, we can reach out to our family and find that answer or resource for you. We have access to marketing development in the form of success stories. Our client success stories range from schools being built, attaining certifications for set-asides, launching new business products, and simply just surviving the pandemic. These success stories are submitted to Washington, D.C., MBDA quarterly, and shared with the network. We are also developing virtual success stories with the production set, cameras, lighting, wireless mics, which will be posted on YouTube, 3 of which will be launched with our website facelift come next month. We're very excited about that. And MBDA also hosts their annual conference in D.C., where center clients are nominated for selected categories. In 2019, one of our star clients won Minority Construction Firm of the Year. It's a large ceremony with special guests like Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, and Shark Tank's Damon John. Our marketing opportunities are a great exposure for our clients. In our first year, with 17 success stories submitted, 88 million in contracts secured, 77 million in the form of bonds, loans, grants, and lines of credit, in turn creating and retaining over 1,800 jobs. That is MBDA's return on investment with our center. We host quarterly webinar training workshops. Our next workshop is this month, titled Preparing for a Virtual Matchmaker. It's scheduled for Wednesday, February 24th from 11 to 12 Mountain Standard Time. We've invited Mr. Adolfo Vasquez, he's USA retired procurement specialist, and Mr. George Williams, program manager with the American Indian Procurement Technical Assistance Center. They're going to share their in-depth knowledge surrounding local, state, and federal contracting strategies. This webinar will focus on preparing companies for a successful virtual procurement matchmaking fair with buyers. It is free and the first of its series. The flyer is posted on our Facebook page and SWBDC, and we'll be posting it today on our website. There's no cost for our core services. Our application is a simple 2-page client intake form. Who is eligible? All minorities, with a focus on American, Indian, Alaska Native, and Native Hawaiian businesses. We currently serve over 100 clients. 80% are Native American-owned companies. Our clients range from construction to IT, marketing, website development, artisans, financial advisors, nonprofits, and wood haulers. Our clients are as far as California to Florida. Our center does not have any boundaries whatsoever. We're a powerful resource with strategic partnerships that include chambers of commerce and government agencies, PTACs, SBDCs, and the SBA, with referrals reaching a network of over 41 MBDA business centers and over 500 contacts on social media. You can visit us at swbdc.com or apply with me for the program and set up a virtual one-on-one consultation. We're here to assist you and bring that glimmer of hope during these trying times. And thank you for your time. And thank you, AIANTA, for the opportunity to introduce ourselves.
Thank you, Michael and Darla. So we're going to go ahead and have Tim Gardipy with the Native American Development Corporation. Welcome, Tim.
Thank you, Bianca. Appreciate the opportunity to speak to everyone here today. Like I said, my name is Tim Gardipy, Little Shell and Blackfeet. Grew up on the Blackfeet Reservation. I'm with Native American Development Corporation. We're a community and economic development firm based out of Billings, Montana. You can go to the next slide. We cover a wide range of services from business development to financing to PTAC services, consulting on our for-profit side with ACES, and as well as recently a foray into the Health and Wellness Center with our Billings Urban Inn and Health and Wellness Center here in Billings to serve the urban Native population for clinic services. Next slide. We do a wide-ranging services from anywhere from small business development, entrepreneurial services, housing counseling, credit counseling for small businesses, to PTAC, which our PTAC covers Wyoming, North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, for a wide variety of services to compete on the federal landscape with government contracting, providing a wide services from 8A certification, HubZone certification, and going after bidding and those types of things. Next slide. And alongside our wide variety of services, we have a small Cdfi doing microloans, small business loans, large scale business loans throughout the primarily Montana and Wyoming, but also a little bit into the Dakotas as well. Helped a lot of clients during this past pandemic for applying with PPP, grant assisted programs throughout the region, and as well as just working with the current borrowers. Next slide. And just emphasizing what we do as an organization. We're pretty new into the MBDA 4A. We're part of the American Indian Alaska Native Hawaiian projects. We're not a business center through the MBDA, but we are a project. We're about 1.5 years into that, and the primary focus of our project is to assist in the global competitiveness of Native American entrepreneurs. And our focus around that has been primarily through e-commerce. We designed a program and a platform which is called TRIA, TRIIA.com. And it's e-commerce / e-consignment platform that we're working with Native artists and crafters and producers around the region to host their projects on a website type of a basis to provide those that maybe aren't on like Facebook or Instagram or any of the other e-commerce types of things to host a place where we can sell. We ship, we inventory their products and serve products here at our organization, and then sell them out through our website that we have through TRIA. It's been pretty interesting over the last year and working through that. We were hoping to get out and do a lot of face-to-face like a lot of other organizations, But due to the pandemic, we've had to work pretty much virtually with everything. So it's kind of set the program and the project back a little bit, but we've been able to pivot and do a few different things to provide an additional platform service for our native artists to start selling. We host on a monthly type of a basis a virtual bazaar. A lot of our powwows, our bazaars, or other community events have been canceled or put off over the last year for native artists. So they haven't been able to sell in a lot of those. And I see a lot of our southern natives and eastern as well have been able to pivot and do a lot of different things. So we've been able to jump on board with that and provide spaces for over the last couple of months. We've done 3 different events. We've had probably close to about 30 different vendors that have put their booths up virtually. And then we've had anywhere from 50 to 60 people come in and just visit those places on a virtual type of a basis. Our hopes with this program was to provide that additional access for those that don't have the availability to be on the internet to sell, and definitely during these times to go out face to face. And so along with those types of things that we do that for the e-commerce side of things, but another component of a big component of our MBDA services is training components. Since we are primarily a technical assistance provider with our PTAC, we've also done a lot of services through our SBA. We're currently a 7J contractor as well with the SBA, providing 8A certification, hub zone certification, and things for that for going after large scale contracting endeavors. And so we work quite a bit with the SBA, the SBDCs, the Small Business Development Centers, as well as providing information for those, the certification, as well as going after bids, looking for bidding opportunities for our native contractors, and just providing a lot of business development services for business planning, marketing, analysis, a lot of training. During this past several months, we've developed a virtual online training center that we've gone anywhere from financial credit, marketing, intro to business planning, a lot of PTAC services, bidding, estimating, things like that. And then also, most recently, we've been working with George Washington University, similar to what AIANTA has provided with their cultural heritage tourism training. We're working with GWU to provide an on-demand training for tourism training certification. And so we're hoping to go live with this program here in probably about a month, mid-March to late March, first part of April. And this will be an on-demand platform for those tourism operators in our tribal communities basically around the country, not just in our service area, that wanna get more information, more training on the tourism side of things. And so with this platform, it's going to be 2 different levels. Level 1 is going to be more of the business development side of things, so the planning, the marketing, how you can get your business up and running, the types of things that you need to think about. And then the second part of it is going to be more in depth, the tourism side of operations. And so our hopes is that we can provide this planning over the next couple of years, that people can access this and access it, on their leisure, on their time. And I know it can be trying to try to get to a place on a live event to do a 1-week training, but our hopes is that it provides flexibility for our tourism operators, especially like where I'm from, up in the Blackfeet area. There, the tourism there has been closed down for basically the last entire year. Once the pandemic hit, a lot of our tourism businesses up there had to pretty much close down, and they haven't had access to do anything with that. So we worked with some of those types of businesses to access some of like the Montana state funds, the grants, like the PPP or the EIDL opportunities through SBA, or also even just some small business loans to help them get through opportunities that they can go after, bids. We worked with some of our clients that have wanted to put in for BIA types of contracts, but needed some operating capital to work for that, or to get up and going for some of those opportunities. So it's just trying to be a resource during these types of times for our small businesses, and providing opportunity of either whether it's just credit development, business planning services, finding resources, connecting them with the right types of places, doing these things with our virtual training center. We've we've had anywhere from, 5 people upwards up 20 people on our ongoing training services. We're doing probably every week we have something different. Just right after this, I'll be doing a financial planning type of one based upon financials, cash flow analysis and things of that nature. So a lot of the businesses that we work with in our region, in our area are the small businesses, the one owner operator type of a business, the artisan, the crafters. And so we're providing a lot of help in a lot of those areas in order for them to stay going during these time to find different unique avenues of competing for their businesses, as well as just support with our training endeavors through the virtual training center. We work with a wide variety of networks around the region. We have pretty good, strong partnerships with our state, local, federal, and tribal entities. We do a lot of partnership with our local SBDC here in Billings to put on different types of trainings, such as marketing, business planning, cash flow, profit mastery, things like that. Also our state agencies as well. We work with quite a bit with our in Montana. We work with the Montana Minority Business Enterprise Unit of the Department of Transportation to get people certified for that. And they help us with a lot of different trainings, bringing in consultants and partners. And so that's one of the things that I would probably encourage the small businesses that are around here is there's a lot of organizations out there that can provide assistance during not only this time, but for growth and development of your business. We're just one of many of the Native American business advisors around Montana and around the region. And so there's organizations such as ours, the SBDCs. A lot of our local tribes are starting to develop Native American business advisors that either do grant funding or financing. They're starting to develop a lot of Cdfi Is around the region. And for those on the forum that might not know what a Cdfi is, that's a community development financial institution. And so they primarily have a purpose of supporting either a certain population, a certain either minorities or a certain community. We're a certified Native Cdfi, so our primary purpose of our Cdfi is to serve the Native communities and Native small businesses. And so we work a lot with those organizations, either partnering on different funding opportunities, bringing in some of our financing to be a part of their financing package. And that's it's a good chunk of what we do outside of the PTAC is just providing our services to the Native entrepreneurs around the region. We work with tribal communities on a variety of economic development projects. Our for-profit side does a lot of things similar to what Michael does in providing feasibility studies and business plans. We worked with the tribe, the Fort Belknap tribe, a few years ago on providing a feasibility plan for their co-op grocery store out in Hayes, Montana. And so it's just that's a big part of what we want to focus on is that network, that partnership, and that relationship. Relationship in our communities goes a long way in developing opportunities, providing resources and development, trying to not necessarily step on the feet of those in our local communities, but come on alongside them, especially if they have other business advising projects going on. And that's as a regional economic development firm, that's what we take pride in, is just being a strong resource in our communities, providing information when our small businesses, especially our Native American entrepreneurs, need it, getting them to the right places. And like Darla was saying, if we don't have the information or we don't have it right in front of us, we have a wide variety of networks that we can partner with, that we network with. And if we don't know the answer, we can definitely point people into the right direction. I know a lot of our small businesses are hurting during this time. It's like, where can I find funding? That's a big part of what we get asked is, where's the dollars at? We have organizations such as ours around the region that you have small Cdfi Is that can provide funding on a loan type of a basis. There's the PPP, the Payroll Protection Program through the SBA that we try to point small businesses to. And a lot of times our states have opportunities for funding, for grants, especially during this time, during the pandemic. And we help walk people through those types of things. Every state is going to be different. Every tribe is going to be different of what kind of programming and funding they have available. And a lot of times we might not know the answer, but we're trying to point people towards those things of where they can get help. And a lot of it is just put some kind of a plan together. And I've met a lot of small native businesses that just struggle with, what do I need to do? Where do I got to start at? And for me, when I work with them, it's just, put together a basic plan, whether it's a 1-pager or a 100-pager, what it is, who you are, what's your background, what are you hoping to get out of this? If you're working with a lender or a Cdfi, what kind of information are they looking for in order for you to get funding for your business? If you're putting together some kind of a grant application, what does the funding agency need from you in order to compete on a higher level for that particular type of a grant? In Montana, we've been pretty successful with the State Department of Commerce, and they've developed a program over the years called Montana In and Equity Fund. And it's one I would hope you would look into for some of your states to see if your state would be interested in sponsoring something like that, especially if there's a large native population. Our governors of the last couple of administrations really bought into this, and they've provided, when it very first started, it was up to $7,000 of a grant to grow, start, and expand their native businesses around the region. And it's grown into a $14,000 grant program for the same to start, grow, and expand. And it's highly competitive now. And the reason why they call it equity is because that's where a lot of our native businesses have struggled with in applying for loans, is especially if they go to a commercial institution, they say, well, what kind of equity do you have into your business? What kind of skin in the game do you have available? The state came alongside these programs and said, we want to provide you this opportunity to put equity into your business in the form of a grant. And because we know a lot of our tribal communities cannot use their land, their houses, and things like that, being in trust type of a status. And so with these types of programs that we can help people access, they can get that leg up, that hand up, and going after commercial type of endeavors, commercial financing, in order to grow properly and compete on a local, national, and potentially global landscape. And that's a lot of what our native entrepreneurs need, is they need that little bit of assistance, that little bit of kickstart. What can I do? How can I take my idea into a viable concept and make this a potentially long-lasting legacy business for not only for myself and my family, but for my tribe and my community. Jobs being at a premium in our tribal communities, especially during the pandemic. A lot of those that were reliant upon face-to-face income or tourism type of an income had to pivot. And so for us, working with those types of entrepreneurs and organizations and businesses, how can we help them pivot to go after the next potential opportunity? Government contracting is huge for those businesses that have been in business for a few years and are looking to grow. And if they want to grow beyond just a small, few different types of jobs, but start competing on a large scale opportunity, working with organizations such as the MBDA, Michael's program, our program, and going after those large scale government contracting, that's one of the things to look at. It's like, what do I want to do as an organization? How do I want to grow my particular business? Who is my my target audience? What is my business intended for? And a lot of times we can walk with our businesses one-on-one through those types of things, helping them to think through more clearly. Is my idea very viable? And can I go after successfully to compete not only in my local community, my reservation, my town, and some of those areas? We have a lot of urban-based businesses here in Montana with our communities. I imagine it's the same with a lot of communities that you're from. Not all of our native businesses are located in tribal communities. And so we're trying to work with those that are urban-based in order to compete successfully as well. And so if you're in a lot of instances, some of our tribes have a lot of programs for the businesses that are based on the reservation. We try to come alongside a lot of those native entrepreneurs that are in more urban type of businesses to understand their market, their opportunities, their availability, how they can grow, what are some of the things that they can think about outside of the normal box thinking for their small businesses. That's what I would hope to kind of pass on to those that are in there, is to not be afraid to ask the questions, to reach out for help, to go to organizations such as MBDA centers, SBDC centers, some of the other Native American business advisors, and say, and a lot of times you don't know the types of questions to ask, and it's just starting with, I need help. And then, and we can just start walking through those things like, okay, well, what are you looking for? What does your business need? How do you plan on growing? What's the goals and opportunities that you want to see for yourself, for your community, for your business? And we can walk step by step and side by side with some of those. Our organizations, such as ours and others, we generally don't write the plans for our businesses, but a lot of those plans are inside the head of our small businesses. So it's helping to develop that seed, helping them to develop their thought process into getting a clear plan of how they want to move things forward. And primarily, that's the main thing and main focus that we want to be is a resource, an opportunity, a connector, a network, and just providing hope for those small businesses that you can go beyond of what's just in front of you. That's about the main topics I wanted to get into. I know there's not much time. We can do business planning all day long and talking about how to develop those businesses. That's what I get passionate about, is a lot of times is working one-on-one with those small businesses and helping them to understand the nature of where they're at and how they can grow and what it takes for them to be successful.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Darla and Michael. What a great presentation, and so important, the work that you all do for our Native communities and Native entrepreneurs. Right now, what we'll do is go into the Q&A. We had a couple of questions in the chat box. Let's go to question for Tim. For the virtual marketplace, do you get buyers from all over the country? How is the shipping handled? Is this an added cost to the products the artists sell?
If they're working through our e-commerce platform, we work basically with buyers all over the country. It's not just local, since it is a website. And the buyer typically pays the shipping, and so we inventory the products here within our organization. And if you go to the website, you'll see some of the products that we have on hand, from arts to crafts to homemade like soaps and things like that. And so if a buyer wants to buy one of those, they work with us and we provide whatever information the artist wants with that. Some will provide a little card, but it is for Native American artists and vendors. And so we generally ask for the information from the artists that, to prove their heritage and things like that. So we are selling the authentic Native American goods and services. And so we do all the shipping out of here. I'll package it. We have a packaging and shipping center within our organization. But when we do the virtual bazaars, when we're working with those things, that's up to each individual business. We're just hosting the platform for them to be there. Same thing as if we had a gymnasium and we had 50 vendors within that. It's up to the vendors how they deal with the clients during that time. And that's the same thing with the virtual bazaars, as they work one-on-one with the businesses, how they do it. But our e-commerce platform, Tria, we do all the inventory, the shipping, working one-on-one with both. We work with both the seller side and then on the buyer side as well. And so in essence, we're the middleman between the two on a consignment basis.
Thank you for that question, Blanca. So the question that we had in the beginning of the presentation with Michael and Darla, a question from Lola: when should a feasibility study be updated?
Yes, my answer to that is the feasibility study is a living and evolving document, and it can be updated really at any given time as the project moves forward. If the tribe decides to build the project, then it can be updated really yearly, every 5 years. Things change over time. Economies change, financing changes, markets change, prices change, raw materials change. So it really can be updated at any time. The plan, investors or partners or banks may require, updates to the plan. So really, it really can be updated at any time. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions for Michael, Darla, or Tim? I know there was one question for Darla, and I think you answered it in the chat box, but it was, do you have any experience with assistance with the development of a sports complex?
Not necessarily a sport complex, but when I mentioned earlier that, you know, we have just a wealth of resource partners to assist in areas if we don't have the answers for you. But just set up a consultation with us and we can get the specifics and we can go from there.
Thank you, Darla. We do have a question. Hi, Tim. I'm developing a tourism business in Nevada. Do you help Native-owned business with business loans outside of the Rocky Mountain region?
Technically, no, but it just depends on the possibility. We can, but I think we tend to defer to the people who are in the service area, since a lot of times they know their service area the best. There could be some native Cdfi's in the region, maybe some other commercial endeavors. We could potentially help you with maybe some of the planning efforts or the PTAC side of things. But when it comes to loans, we generally kind of stick to the four state region, but it's not impossible that we can't. So it just all probably depends on the project. You know, it's hard to do a site visit out of something that far away for us, but we would potentially connect you with someone maybe we know down in the area or the region if we ourselves aren't able to work with them directly. And also, I just wanted to echo Michael's sentiment on the feasibility, keeping that updated. The same thing with not only your feasibility, but also your business plan, your marketing plan. You should be visiting those at least on an annual basis to understand the nature of your business, how it's growing. Are you doing the things that you say you're going to do, especially on the marketing side of things? If you put some kind of a plan together and you could see success out of it, you can say, well, the things that I said in my plan that I wanted to do have been creating big success. And if you've got these plans down, but you're actually not visiting them, they were just used there maybe to get your initial financing, it wouldn't help. It would probably work for your business to go back and revisit that and say, you know, especially if it's an internal document to help you grow and understand the nature of your business. And if you're able to pivot very quickly, especially what a lot of our businesses did around the area, you know, some of our businesses in Montana, not necessarily native businesses, but they were some kind of a manufacturing type of a business. But when there was a shortage in PPE and some other types of things, they were able to pivot quickly and start providing PPE. And if that's your type of a business, if you've got manufacturing or some kind of a development type of a business, are you going to be able to respond quickly to what the market is bearing? A lot of our artists and crafters weren't able to do that specifically, but they changed their mindset. They started to join different types of groups like Facebook online marketplace, the social distance powwow, things like that. Organizations such as ours, I know a lot of different organizations have set up those opportunities for Native artists to sell their products in a wide variety of manners. And if you have these plans behind your type of a business, you're going to be able to say, you know, I can point towards this or I can do that. Or if you're looking for funding or financing, it gives you that ability to take it to whoever the reader or the funder is and say, this is what my plan is what my opportunity. And I definitely want to echo that as planning is very key to the success of our businesses, no matter if you're a one-person operation up to 1,000-person operation. You want to plan, you want to revisit it specifically. And if you're a type of a business that you have to pivot quickly, revisit your plan quarterly.
Thank you for that, Tim. So we have another question for you, Tim. Can artists provide their websites to you for marketing their art?
You know, yeah, definitely. We post on our Facebook pages, things like that. You know, if you want to join our virtual bazaars, that's all part of that. That's what we're hoping that, you know, as we grow the TRIA platform that we have, we might not necessarily host somebody's art or products or crafts, but we could point links towards them. And that's one of the things that as we grow it, we don't want it to look at as competition to some of the other native organizations that are hosting their native products, but we want to have maybe some kind of either a forum or site that just points people towards that. So in essence, yeah. And then at some point, if it gets large enough that maybe some people want to start advertising on our website. So that is the hopes as we're growing it. It's very new. The website itself has only been in operation for about 7 or 8 months. So it's pretty small right now. I think we only have about 8 artists that have provided their goods to us. That's been one of the things. I think the hang up is like, how can the artists get their products to us? Most of the stuff that we have been able, those artists that have been able to walk in the doors and provide us their product. And I think that's been the scary thing for some of our artists, like, well, I need my money up front. And so we're playing with the ideas, is the consignment basis the right thing? We're always looking for suggestions. Is there an opportunity to maybe to buy the products and buy the products on a more of a wholesale type of a basis, and then we mark them up ourselves and we sell them, but then that has us owning the product. So we're looking at all these different types of aspects and what would work for this type of a programming, and it's all new to me. I am a small business owner with my wife as a photography business, but retail side of things is very new. So we're learning on a lot of those and helping our artists understand that side of things, and working with other organizations for training, for opportunities for artist development. I pointed a few artists to some other organization. I think it was First People's Funds, I believe, that helps with artist websites and some of those types of things. So we, if we don't have the available resource, we want to point our artists for those types of things to be able to do that. But in short essence, we want to hope to be able to promote and advertise artists, even if their product doesn't come to us. We'll just do it in different and unique ways if we're able to.
Okay, we have time for about 3 more questions. This question is from Elizabeth. Hi, Elizabeth. I wanted to ask who pays your fees and fees for feasibility studies, etc. And this is for all.
Mike is on mute.
Yes, to answer that question, we've done probably over 20 feasibility studies over 20 years. And my observations are they are paid for by, majority of them paid for by USDA. They have what's called a RBEG and an RBOG grant program. And recently the BIA, Office of Energy and Economic Development, their Native American Business Development Institute has grant monies available for tribes to apply for. And then also the Administration for Native Americans, they have another grant program. And those grant opportunities can be found on www.grants.gov. A majority of those will be released around, I would say, March, April, in the next coming months. So you might want to keep your eyes and ears open. There's a short window for the grants. There's not a whole lot of money. So it's a first come, first served basis. If you have any questions on how to approach it, I have a lot of experience in grant writing and putting these things together because of the limited amount of funds that are available, and really the best approaches that are utilized to get those monies, and really writing an effective grant application. So we're here to help out any way we can, and then feel free to reach out to Darla and myself, and we'd be happy to work with you or answer any questions. Thank you very much.
And to tag along that, in some states also within their economic development departments also have monies for feasibility. Like in Montana, we have a Big Sky Trust Fund. And so there's some grant monies here for those businesses that want to do feasibility studies. So we try to partner not only with, like, say, Big Sky Trust Fund, but with USDA, like Michael said, and also occasionally look to EDA, Economic Development Administration. A lot of times they have funding for projects at very highly competitive for a lot of those projects. They're a lot larger scale, more so on the tribal side of things, but they're another resource to take a look at outside of USDA. USDA primarily with a lot of theirs works with the rural areas. And some of our communities, especially like in our bigger cities like Billings, we're outside the realms of rural. And so we have to look for other types of unique financing for these types of projects. And we look to, Big Sky Trust Fund, EDA programming, and even when you get to the larger scale things, new market tax credits. You can get into a whole thing of how you can do project financing for some of these things. Outside of even that, there's right now is opportunity zones. A lot of our tribes are considered opportunity zones, And so you can develop these types of projects and these different things that the federal government has deemed a necessity for our communities, to go after certain types of funding pots for these types of projects. So it just depends on the nature of your project, if it's a for-profit type of a project or a community development endeavor type of a project that benefits the tribe or the local community. And that's what organizations such as Michael and ours can help people understand, what types of funding is best suited for the nature of my project. Is it a small business endeavor, or is it a larger scale economic or community endeavor type of project?
Okay, next question. A question for all panelists regarding 8A certification. Do you help Alaska Village corporations achieve 8A status?
Generally, there's native PTACs all throughout the U.S. I think there's like 6 or 7 native PTACs. We're one of them. We primarily cover the Rocky Mountain and a little bit of the Plains region. And so there's specifically a PTAC that might cover Alaska. I think they're based out of Seattle. They may have a local office up there, but I'm not 100% certain. Sometimes organizations such as ours, even though we don't cover that service area, if the small business says there's no one local here to service our needs, would you be willing to work with us to get ourselves 8A certified? And so we definitely don't turn away clients, but it's just as simple as them requesting our service specifically, and either through an email or a letter stating, we want service from your PTAC to help us do, our 8A certification or hub zone and things like that. You can look online for, if you type in native PTACs, native PTAC centers, and there's a I could probably get the link, and you can look up that site for who the native PTAC is that services your particular state or your region. And so it's APTAC AP. I'll just post it in the chat box.
Just to add to that, and what Tim had said, that we don't turn away clients. Also, our contractor, Mr. Pedro, Senior Training and Certification Specialist, specializes in 8A certification. So his contact information there is in the chat box, and set up a meeting with Russell, and he can do a one-on-one consultation with you.
Yeah, and we have, in one of our PTAC associates, Robert Much, is a retired SBA SBA guy, and so that's same thing. His specialty is 8A and hub zone, and so he definitely works with a lot of our clients on that side of things, even through our 7J grant program. And so if you click on that, and even if you have a question, you can always contact him, even if you don't become a client. That's been his specialty for the last 3 decades, is working through the 8A program. He's been very successful in getting those who are certified in, because he knows a lot of the questions that they're asking, what they're looking for. And same thing with any PTAC that you go to, they're going to know the types of things that you need for your business to get 8A or hub zone, if you particularly qualify, if your area is in that, and that they're definitely that's what they're there for. Feel free to reach out and ask a lot of questions. The majority of our services are for free here at NADC. I think a lot of people, even with like Michael's program, I could probably see is that people, do I have to pay for your services? But no, our technical assistance is generally for free. All our PTAC services are for free. Occasionally we'll put on trainings or our conferences that are fee-based, but very rarely are those, and they're just specifically for like a one-off. But whether it's technical assistance, PTAC, those types of things, working with our e-commerce, just one-on-one consulting, it's all for free.
I just wanted to add to that and reinforce what Darla said. Russell Pedro, data management in New Mexico, he's one of our contractors, and he specializes in 8A and hub zone and WOSB, the BIA, all the various certifications that allow businesses to compete in the federal government arena. He's got, I believe, about a 99% approval rating, working with individual for-profit companies and also tribal development corporations. So a 99% approval rate is great, and we support. I support the strategy behind that. once they get certified in any particular area, then they come to me and ask me, how do I utilize that vehicle to get government contracting and utilizing joint ventures and partnerships and so forth to build capacity for your business? How do you get these large federal government contracts? So that's what we specialize in from our office here with the Four Winds Diversified project.
Yep, and
And
definitely
just to
take advantage
specify, our consulting services are at no cost, but when it goes into the detail, 8A certification, there is a fee, and that's where you set up a one-on-one consultation.
Okay, well, thank you, Tim, Darla, and Michael. I'm sure we could go on for, the rest of the day, but we got to be respectful of everyone's time. And I want to thank all of our attendees, and just some information. We do have some information on funding for cultural tourism at the AIANTA website. You can take a look at our resource library, and you will find a list of resources that was compiled to find funding for programs that support or can build capacity for cultural tourism. And AIANTA also publishes a funding opportunities newsletter. So please take a look at our AIANTA website. And that concludes our webinar session for today. If we didn't get to your question, we will send those questions to our panelists and they can answer those questions for you. Just wanted to let you know that this recording will be emailed to you by the end of the week. You will be able to view the recording and the PowerPoint presentation. Also, for more information on our AIANTA webinars, please visit the aianta.org/webinar-series at our website. Again, I want to thank the panelists, Tim, Darla, and Michael. Thank you for your time today, and we wish you all a wonderful afternoon. Tawaya.
Thank you.